All right, so here we go. I got a 34-28 on the left, and then you on the right. So we should be matched up here pretty good. So basically, the leading with the shoulders into the like you said on the gate, especially. Okay, so what happens is you're in a pretty good stance right here. As you start to load, you do push through the back of the ski, which is good in a lot of ways. So we do want to push against that ski, but as you go to push, your front knee and your front ankle are getting straight, right? So right about here, what happens is that front ankle and that front knee kind of lock out, and they push that hip back. So by the time you're here, you're pretty far out in front with your chest and pretty far back with your hips. Okay? So then if you look at my video, you'll see a lot more emphasis on the front kneecap driving towards the tip of the ski, the front ankle flexing, and what that does is that pushes my hips forward over my feet, and then I'm bringing my chest up. My whole goal is to have, essentially, I want my hips closer to the front of the ski than my shoulders. I don't want my shoulders out here and my hips back here, right? It seems pretty obvious. But what happens is you end up right about here, starting to straighten that front leg right about there. At that point, that front knee and that front ankle, they're locking out. They're kind of pushing back, and they're pushing that hip back here, and then that chest is coming forward. So then by the time you hit the wake, you got no ability to absorb that impact through the ankle, and then you're going to take the impact of the wake through your waist. So you're going to take the impact here rather than here and here, and then what happens is that's going to knock this forward and push that back. So if you look at this point, you can see how much I'm driving my chest up. I'm driving my knees and ankles forward, and I'm driving my chest up. That posture is so important, right? We can't really get away with that being less than perfect. If your chest is forward at all, and that front knee and that front ankle are pushing straight to where it's pushing that hip back, by the time you hit that wake, your chest has nowhere to go but forward. And then what that causes, you end up pulling long. So you're going to carry more speed. And then as you come off the wake, what happens, if we look right here, what we want to feel like is we come through that wake and we're driving the knees and ankles forward and the chest up. So that as we hit center line, we can make that edge change. And as soon as we do, all of that pull from the boat that's going into that handle is still connected to your waist. We don't want that to move up to your chest height, because what that does is going to pull your upper body in. It's going to pull your chest forward. You're going to because of that, you're going to keep sitting back with your hips. But you can see where that pull is coming from here, and with you, it's coming from up here instead of down here. So now that boat has a hold of your upper body, kind of pulls that shoulder in, back in towards the center line, and also is going to pull your chest forward. But all that is really being created, this little bit of lack of perfect posture here, into the whitewater, into the wake, into center line. As soon as you hit that wake and cross through center line, all of that gets really exposed, and then you see the more dramatic effects as you come off the wake to here, where all that pull is going up to the upper body and pulling the shoulders, rotating the shoulders in and pulling the chest forward. And because you feel the boat pulling from your chest, it's more comfortable to stay sitting back with your hips rather than standing up over your feet. So still nice turn off of one, you know, lefty, pretty natural for you, right? Pretty easy. And I'm gonna take these apart so that we're going the same way. So just this little bit of this S shape through the body instead of this straighter line creates that gap between here and here, and here it doesn't look like much, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm pushing through both legs, strong through my quads, but I'm pushing equally. I'm not pushing on just my back foot or just my front foot. I'm trying to push through both legs. I'm driving my knees and ankles forward, and I'm really trying to emphasize that chest up and the arch in the low back, because my whole goal is to get my hips all the way up into that handle to where like my quads are hitting my wrists into this wake. And then you can see I can edge change sooner. So here I'm landing, we're in the same spot here, I'm landing on my inside edge, but I'm only able to do that because of my posture into the wake and because of that connection of my hip to my handle. If I don't have a full connection of the hip to the handle as I come off the wake, the handle moves up towards the chest, pulls the upper body in, pulls it in, and then as you're trying to go outbound, your upper body's getting pulled to the inside, and it makes it hard to continue to arc out wide before the ball. So now if we look at the separation on the second side of the wake, we can see that hip is still connected to that handle. The boat's still pulling right from the midline of my body, whereas with you, that pull has moved up to here. You can see the upper body being rotated back in, kind of twisted in. So the chest is getting pulled forward and the shoulders are getting rotated back in. As you're trying to go out with your ski, your upper body's getting pulled to the inside. And if we look at the difference right there, all that pull is coming right through your shoulders. Your left shoulder is really opened up to the boat. That's going to open your hips up to the boat. So things are twisted in here when we want those hips and shoulders to still be going outbound to carry that path out wider into the turn. So that slack you're getting on the backside of the ball, the process is beginning here. So here we want a stronger push through both legs. We want more arch in the lower back, and we want that chest to be up taller so that hip is closer to the front of the ski. We get a straighter line through the body and a tighter connection of the hip to the handle, so that as you come off and make your edge change, hopefully closer to center line and not past the wakes, and we can continue to feel that boat pulling from the midline of the body, from the waist, from the hips, as you're trying to swing out to that buoy. So you get that little bit of looseness in the rope, and then the balance is kind of lost because you don't have that tension in the rope to help you balance, to help keep you over your feet. And then what happens is you end up falling back. So the area to improve is really from the finish of the turn into the wake, perfecting that posture with that chest up, arch in the back, knees, ankles drive forward, hips come all the way up to the handle, get a full, complete alignment into that wake to get that hip closer to the handle so you don't have to pull as long, and you can stay, or you can maintain that pull coming from the waist, not allowing it to travel up to your chest where it's going to pull you forward and rotate you in as you're trying to swing out. So you can see that upper body start to get pulled in more and more, right? This one looks better. This is a good one here. You look stronger through your legs. You're not quite as squatty. Don't be afraid to use your legs to push and resist that pressure through the ski. Don't let that pressure building through the ski collapse your body into a squat. You want to push and be strong through your legs and pull that chest up more, arch that back more, get those hips closer to that handle into the wake so that the boat doesn't take over the upper body coming off the wake, pulling you forward and twisting you in. So hope that helps. Let me know if you have questions, if I need to clarify anything. Yeah, let me know if I can help to implement some of these changes. I know it seems simple when you look at it, but it's really, coaching is trying to figure out how to actually make you do it, right? So if I can help there, let me know. I appreciate it. Thanks, and see ya.